He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isaiah 40, verses 29 to 31, NIV. On April 6, 1932, Eric Liddell gave his evangelistic debut as a speaker when he spoke for the Glasgow Students' Evangelical Union, known as the Flying Scotsman because he was so incredibly fast. Eric was born in Tientsin, China. He was the second son of Reverend and Mrs. James Liddell, who were Scottish missionaries with the London Missionary Society. At the age of 6, Eric and his older brother Rob were sent to a boarding school at Eltham College in Blackheath, England. At Eltham, Eric became well known as an excellent athlete and as a young man the fastest runner in Scotland. He was also the lead speaker with the Glasgow Student Evangelical Union and a very successful and challenging young men and women in Scotland to live for Christ. One of my favorite scenes from the movie of Chariots of Fire is when Eric is being chastised by his sister for pursuing athletics. He states, God made me fast. God made me fast, and he made me fast, and when I run, I sense his pleasure. In 1920, Eric enrolled at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. He ran the 100-yard dash and the 220 yards for Edinburgh and played on Scotland's rugby team. Liddell graduated from Edinburgh University in 1924 after the Paris Olympiad. In 1924, it was at the Olympics that Eric refused to run in the 100 meters. What? That's his best race. His best race. Because the preliminaries were held on Sunday. The movie version portrayed Liddell's decision as last minute. Actually, he had made the decision months ahead and trained to run the 400-meter race. He won a gold medal in the 400 meters and also a bronze in the 200-meter, beating Harold Abrams, also portrayed in the movie, who finished 6th. After the Olympics, Liddell returned to China, where he served as a missionary from 1925 to 1943. In 1932, Eric married Florence Mackenzie, the daughter of Canadian missionaries. They had 3 daughters. In 1941, life in China became tenuous because of the invasion of the Japanese army. Florence and the girls returned to Canada, and Eric remained in China. In 1943, the Japanese overran their mission, and they were taken to a prison camp. Eric became a leader in the camp and looked after Eric became a leader in the camp and looked after the medicine, food, and other supplies. In 1945, still in prison, Liddell died of a brain tumor. His grave is at the Mausoleum of Martyrs in Shizhou, or Shizang, China. The life of Eric Liddell and the 1924 Olympics have been memorialized in the movie Chariots of Fire, which was in the theaters in the early 1980s. The true story of Liddell's life is even more fascinating than the movie version. His notoriety as an Olympic athlete is eclipsed by his dedication to take the gospel of Christ to the Chinese. The leadership that he assumed in the Japanese prison camp has been well documented by fellow prisoners who survived the whole ordeal. Eric spent his time scourging for the resources for them to even survive, and even organize some sports diversions for the children in the camp, like sprinting, and he was also good at chemistry like me. Uncomplaining, he continued to serve others and the Lord in the most deprived of circumstances. All of us have at times when we're tired, and hope in God is the antidote for the weariness. When we are at the end of our strength, he gives us new strength. I've seen times in the army when a unit was disheartened and defeated, but a single word of hope made them get off their haunches, grab their equipment, and head into the fray again. Hope is intangible, yet without it, we die. With it, we are invincible. Dear Lord, Thank you for the hope for this life and the next, which is only found in Jesus Christ. Amen.